I thought he was taking it from work. Yeah, I mean, you can make that just the monitor. There, yeah.
I could do that. Good evening, everybody. I will call the January 28th, 2025 Planning Commission meeting to order. Member, can you call the roll, please?
Commissioner Pop? Here. Commissioner Freibeck?
Here.
Commissioner Heller is absent. Commissioner Laura Minka?
Here.
Commissioner Rhodes? Here. Commissioner Slater?
Here.
Commissioner Tuck? Here. Commissioner Truitt?
Here.
Commissioner Bureau?
Here.
Mayor Arnold.
All right, thank you. So at this point, we're taking public comments on anyone who has testimony for something other than our land use hearing tonight. Is there anyone here with something other than that would like to speak to the commission? All right, we'll move on to the consent calendar. I think Commissioner Truitt, you have a motion for us? That's the minutes.
I will motion to approve the minutes.
Perfect. All right, for January 14th. Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All right, second from Vice President Fogg. Any questions on that? All right, Jen, if you would take the roll, please.
Commissioner Pop? Aye. Commissioner Freibeck?
Aye.
Commissioner Laura Minka?
Aye.
Commissioner Rhodes? Aye. Commissioner Slater?
Aye.
Commissioner Tuck? Aye. Commissioner Truitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Bureau?
Aye. All right, motion passes. I probably should have asked, but I'll do it in retrospect. Commissioner Laura Minkup, did you read or did you listen to the tape?
Yes, I did.
I was aware of that. All right, thank you. With that, we will open the public hearing that we continue. And before I do so, I think Commissioner Laura Minkup, you have a statement about that. Can you listen to the hearing on this?
Yes, I did.
And you're prepared to participate in the conversation. All right, great. And we're going to start with Bryce to give us a quick overview of, I think, the comments that have come in and staff response to that, or any new conditions that we need to be aware of.
Yeah, so good evening, President Slater, Bryce Bishop of the Planning Division, and just to recap for the folks in the audience that didn't participate in the original hearing, there was a hearing that was held on January 14th to discuss the proposal where staff presented proposal. The case before the Planning Commission this evening is for a refinement plan for the training center site for 102.44 acres of the site, along with the 562 lot subdivision, of which 546 lots are proposed for single family development, either in a combination of attached and detached housing styles. And the Planning Commission received evidence and testimony at that hearing. There was a supplemental staff report that was issued prior to that hearing addressing issues that have been raised by the applicant concerning conditions of approval, and there were recommended revisions to the conditions of approval in that document. After receiving testimony, there was a written request to leave the written record open. Having considered that request, the Planning Commission voted to continue the hearing to this evening. And the time subsequent to that, the January 14th hearing, we have received additional testimony that you've all received numerous points as it's come in via email, and so identifying a variety of issues, similar things in school, school capacity, traffic safety on Battle Creek, and similar issues like that. Those have been transmitted to the Planning Commission, and I'm happy to answer questions, about those, or you can go into testimony.
All right, thank you. Are there questions from commissioners? No, okay, well, I just have a couple. So I went over the comments, and I just want to understand where we are with some of them, particularly in relationship to the jurisdiction of authority of the Planning Commission. So one of the questions was the school district and the relationship between the development and the school district. I think we spoke to that, but would you again make some points on that for us?
Yes, several comments again related to South Salem High School specifically being over capacity as a result of post development, and the need for the development to somehow, provide a school on the property or to, contribute to increase capacity for the school. In the state of Oregon and the city, we don't have criteria that require, developers to build schools. That's a school district responsibility. They do their separate planning for facilities, and they provide those comments as sort of a means of public awareness as development occurs. That, what impacts development will have, but again, there aren't any specific criteria within the development code that would require the development of the school for the school district on the property. They would have to go through their own planning process, identify this as a site of the school being located here in the master plan, and get funding for that school. There is, as identified in the second supplemental staff report, language in the Fairview zone that requires the school district to work with the city in case the school is needed. The school district was provided notice, and there was no need for a school identified on this site.
Thank you. Another comment I received or we received was concerns about the interior roads. Some of those are different than our standard roads and access for fire and buses. Can you speak to that? I assume that those are all reviewed and approved.
Yeah, the fire department reviewed the entrance streets within the subdivision, and there's provisions, these conditions that require turnarounds to be provided as phases, are developed. There is an ability to turn around. So yeah, the development has to be able to be met by fire department.
That standard has been met.
Yes.
Another comment was about the connection between the new development and the middle school, Leslie Middle School. I think you spoke to that earlier, but would you mind repeating that testimony?
And that would be the connection from the northwestern corner of the site along the sidewalk connection, from there all the way to the sidewalk that ends essentially at the boundary of the woods or the Braden Lane natural area. That would be beyond, the boundary of the property. The development is responsible for boundary frontage improvements, which will include a multi-use path along the frontage. We cannot require, the additional sidewalks beyond that. That's about a quarter mile sidewalk that would be required. And plus, there is, as many, I'm sure the residents know, they experience traffic on Battle Creek and most likely drive on it. There's topography there and super elevation on the hillside. And so there is another refinement plan that was approved previous to this, the Fairview Addition West refinement plan that has a condition of approval, and with the subsequent phases to do a frontage improvement Battle Creek Road. And that would include not only doing a normal street improvement, but also lowering the grade. So any kind of sidewalk improvement would be done. Now with this development would be a throwaway improvement because they would all go away to the
So the Braden Creek, the Braden natural area frontage be addressed in another development of this one.
correct.
I also read that there's some concerns about the route right past Creek Road up to Kubler. Some concerns about the need to develop that or add lighting other facilities. I assume that that's beyond the scope of what we require here in this land use.
They're required to do boundary streets and Pernod side of Reed Road as part of this. And in addition, intersection improvement of Reed Battle Creek. So there will be a boundary street improvement.
At Reed Road, but no further south.
Not to Kugel. Yeah, correct.
Because that's beyond our ability to do. Is that
Yeah.
right? Thank you. I think that covers the number. Now I want to get to the big question of the night, which is Battle Creek. So I understood from the testimony there's a significant concern of speeding. There was a speed study. Do we have that information?
Oh, and it's over to our traffic engineers.
We collect speed studies. Tony Martin, Assistant City Traffic Engineer, for the record, reports. So we have a neighborhood traffic management program that's been implemented about a year and a half or so ago. We take requests from all over the city and our crews go out and we collect speed and traffic data. We collected speed and traffic data on Battle Creek in 2022. I don't have the report in front of me, but I seem to recall the 85th percentile speed was 48 miles an hour. It's close to 40. We have.
And can you explain that just a little bit? With the
Sure. The 85th percentile speed, if you take all the speeds that people are traveling, it makes an S curve. And if, for example, if we had 100, because that makes a nice, I can do that math. 85% of those people are driving at a certain speed, and that's what we typically set speed limits at. at the 85th percentile, plus or minus 5, because we can't do an odd number for speed zones. ODOT is in charge of all speed zones within the state of Oregon, so in order to change it, we would have to have ODOT do a speed zone analysis. ODOT has relaxed their rules that allow us to go to the 50th percentile. Same principle, it's the middle ordinate of 100 vehicles. From that study, the 50th percentile was 40. So based on that, the speed would be set at 40, which is what it's set at today.
So can I interpret that to mean that half the people that are driving on that road go over 40? Is that like the median?
Yes, it's the median, yes, the 50th percentile.
Okay, so how many people drive on that road? Is it, it's seriously 12,000 or something?
No, it's like six or 7,000 APT.
So if it's 6,000, so we have about 3,000 people daily that drive over the speed limit.
Correct. And they're probably going 43, 42, and that's, people feel comfortable 5, 6, 7, 8 miles over.
I know.
Yeah,
So what is within the scope of the city's ability to bring those speeds down to either 40 or lower on a minor arterial? What tools do you have?
we don't have any engineering solutions. Because we have to, the speed is 40, it's minor arterial, we have to design it for safety for the speed that's posted. To start enforcing the speed limit to 40 is a law, it's police, we're lacking enforcement right now throughout the city. So we really take enforcement. And again, that's out of the public works realm, it's an enforcement. So there's tools the police have that they can use.
See Commissioner Ryback, I'll just ask one or two more questions on this. So the city designs the street, people use it, and then ODOT determines what speed people are comfortable going at.
Because they're in charge of all the speed zones
Right.
in the state, yes.
So it's the design that comes first, then the driver behavior, and then the speed.
It's designed for the classification of the roadway. In this case, we may have inherited this from Marion County, so it's not necessarily designed perfectly, but it's what we have and we designated it as a minor arterial.
So I guess what I'm trying to get at is a relationship between the design and the fact that half the people are going over the speed limit.
I would counter that every street in the city, about half the people are going over the posted speed. Every street, it's not unique to Battle Creek, it's not unique to Reed, it's not unique to Kugler, it's not unique to the one next to my house.
Okay.
People will drive, they'll drive 30 in at 25. They'll drive 32 because there's no enforcement to tell them.
Private.
Yeah, so over the past week, I took a look at some transportation engineering resources. I looked at the for design and a few other resources that the city uses to kind of design urban roadways. And I heard a lot of the comments from the public about speeding concerns. And I sketched up a design that uses the strategy that other states, and we use them here in the city. The lane shifts, primarily they're used on Pringle Road. I've seen them used to shift the lanes over to accommodate a pedestrian crossing island in front of the ESD building. And then, they're used on State Street to accommodate a left turn lanes at intersections where the street goes from a 4-lane section to a 5-lane section. I've seen them on South Commercial to kind of get away from the cemetery. And those lane shifts were specifically the one on South Commercial. I sketched it up at a 180-foot long lane shift to shift the lanes over 12 feet, which is a 30-mile-an-hour design speed for AASHTO. And I just added them in a few locations, along Battle Creek to add, horizontal deflection. So the state of Florida has these kinds of engineering solutions in their design manual. The state of Washington has them in there. They have them as options to control speeds. And then, Seeker, ODOT, but our blueprint for urban design manual has kind of a list of steps the city could follow if they want to, lower the target speed of the roadway. They suggest that you would design the roadway to 30 miles an hour and then, construct it and then do a speed study and lower the speed to which people drive. I think my question really is, you guys mentioned that, or I guess the staff mentioned that what I had drawn were chicanes, which are, only allowed on neighborhood roadways per the neighborhood traffic calming guide. Correct me if I'm wrong here, but what I drew in this sketch is an example of lane shifts, which is, to me, it's used elsewhere in the city to accommodate turn lanes and other geometric features. I'm asking staff if they would support the use of lane shifts in a location where their need isn't determined by the center turn lane, but the need is determined by traffic calming or other kinds of.
So I reviewed your drawing.
Yeah.
And I, so there's lots of things, there's a lot of words there. So on South Commercial, it's more like about 300 feet of shift go around the cemetery. It's from block to block. A little background, Commercial Street South used to be state highway. It was an ODOT facility for years. Just a little background, when we redid it, repaved it, we took the 16-foot center turn lane and reduced it. We added bike lanes and we added buffers to there. So that those lane shifts are based on a design speed, not something that's desired. So the design speed that you drew up was based on 30 miles an hour. The design speed of a minor arterial was 45 miles an hour. That is the city's design speed. That's what we have to use. We wouldn't support a design reduction from 45 to 30. It's just too far given the volume of traffic and the speed. So all of the turn lanes that you mentioned, where we're flaring out to accommodate my turn, all based on speed. So whether it's WS squared over 2, which is the taper ratio, depending on the speed, or it's W times S, the width that you're shifting times the speed. So that's what all of those are based on. And they're not really designed to slow traffic. They're designed to shift traffic smoothly and safely.
Okay. So I just would like to.
Another question?
Yeah. So given that other states use these and they have shown success in kind of calming traffic, and that the state has amended their design recommendation to use a target speed is the same as the design speed, but the city supports a resolution or a condition to allow these and a different than normal design speed to remedy these concerns.
For this application, I would not support that. If this is something that's desired by the city, this is a TSP exercise. This is something that needs to be citywide, not subdivision by subdivision. So it's a bigger process than this. Yeah, we'd have to modify our design standards, and that would be TSP process, modify design standards to accommodate that. The blueprint for urban design and the Florida DOT and all of those things you cited, they appear to me that they're about how to slow traffic on a state highway running through an urban area, more so than an existing local street that the city or county or local jurisdictions owns and maintains. So the state is looking at ways to help the local jurisdiction slow down the speed, because The state has design standards because it's either a statewide level, statewide classified or a district or a regional facility. They have those different classifications, they have different design standards and different design speeds.
Good, thank you.
Thank you, that was helpful. I have one last question. Did I hear you correctly that the minor arterial for Salem, the designated speed is 45? Minor arterials.
The design speed. That means, so that means the curvature, the curves, the lane widths, the vertical curvature is designed for 45 miles an hour.
That's very helpful. Thank you. Any other questions before we move on to Commissioner Lees?
Sure, one question. I think in the traffic study you were referencing from 2002, that is the year Costco went in. Do you know if it was pre-Costco or post-Costco?
The traffic counts?
Yeah, the 6,700, I think is the number that was in the traffic.
2 years ago. So, post Costco,
Post-Costco.
post Costco.
Okay, so I think Costco went in spring of 2022. So.
Yeah, I think it was, not sure exactly when Costco opened, but.
Okay, but post-Costco.
I'm sure it's
Okay.
post Costco.
And then I just one more question or point, I guess. So if the median speed was 40, but the 85th percentile was 48, with the 6,700, the way I get that, that would be 1,000 people a day that are going 48 or above, right?
They would, if the median speed is 40. And that means, and there's 6,000 a day, so I can do math, and it's 3,000. Or speed during the day. They're going over 40.
If the median is 40, and there's 6,700 a day.
Yeah.
Would you have to be going above that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, I rounded down to 6,000 because I can do that math in my head.
And then I think the 85th percentile, right, that's the other value, that was 48 miles an hour.
48,
And so 15% of people would be above that,
yes.
which would be about 1,000, right?
I couldn't tell you because I haven't seen it, I didn't look at the graph, it could be 1,000, it could be 800, because it's in the chart, it's where it breaks, so it gets flatter at the top and flatter at the bottom, so it's kind of an S curve. And so it could be 1,000, it could be.
It's been a hot minute since I did a lot of math, but I thought 85th percentile meant that 15% was above,
Okay. 15% is going above
48.
miles an hour.
Yeah, okay, so it's like 1,000 a day.
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks for hearing our math questions. I would have failed that spot, so. All right, Commissioner Truitt, I think you had one.
Yeah, not a question at this point, but I did have a feeling traffic counts would come up, so I looked them up today. So on Battle Creek, north of Kugler, so between Reed and Kugler, there was a measurement taken in August of 23, 11,570. However, further north on Battle Creek, north of Reed Road, the last reading was in 2022 and it is 7,720. So I doubt however many thousands of cars per day are failing off to Reed Road because it's in the 2,000 range. So that probably accounts for some of the traffic in Costco. So just, I looked it up, so I got to use my information. So there you go.
And we're expecting about 12,000 additional vehicles or additional trips. Is that right?
No, I don't think so.
I'm wrong. Not the first time. Commissioner Pott, did you have one? You're deaf from.
I don't have it in front of me, but I believe that's the anticipated total. I will say that they'll defer to staff.
It's the total build out of this development after all the phases is a little less than 5,000. 12,000, the number you're referring to, is the number from the entire site at full build.
Okay, thank you. That was very helpful. Go ahead, Laura.
Thank you. Laura Christian, infrastructure planner. I just wanted to clarify that the TIA, the reason that you're getting the 12,000 number is because the TIA, this is an update to the very original Fairview master plan area. So it's really looking at the entire Fairview development district site. And so the number that Tony mentioned is correct for this development, but the 12 is in of the entire Fairview master plan.
Thank you. Anything else? All right, yeah.
So I just have a question for Commissioner Truitt. When you said you looked up the numbers, and the numbers we provided, or you found traffic counts somewhere else?
City's website, traffic counts.
Tony referenced in the staff report was a 2023 number, so. The Commission's using additional information to make a decision, see to make sure it's correct.
You know, that forward, where do you website?
I guess I'll go find it. Thank you.
All right, now the applicant. And I should just clarify that, because we've asked questions on the commission, doesn't necessarily mean that, we think those are part of the decision-making criteria. We go ahead and make our final vote, but some of these are informational questions for the commission.
Zach Bells with AKS Engineering and Forestry. I'm located at 3700 River Road, Norwalk, Kaiser. Nice. Getting there. So we'll piggyback on just a few of those questions. The commission, just as a matter of procedure, we will have an additional opportunity to rebut public comments after that. Okay. So we're trying not to be too redundant, and I expect if there's any additional public comment that comes up tonight, a little bit redundant. But I guess to start off, we're here tonight. This is a continuation from the meeting that we had on January 14th. There was a specific request to leave the record open so that the requesting party could submit an additional traffic study that would rebut, I guess, staff's recommended condition of approval with regard to the timing for us to make improvements to Reed Road and Battle Creek. I guess just to clarify for the record, that rebuttal TA was never produced, at least as far as we're aware, and there's no information sent to the record to rebut that. Again, our team is here tonight to answer any questions that you have, so please don't be shy, please feel free to jump in for our team as questions come up. We've touched on a lot of these already, so I'll be very brief. But we've sort of categorized the comments that have come in since January 14th into these 4 different issues that will come through. We'll start with some of the questions that Commissioner Slater had at the meeting on January 14th with regard to how these open spaces would be landscaped. And so we realized that we didn't do a very great job of articulating how these spaces would be landscaped, so we'll just take a minute to do that here. I think it's important to know, though, one of the important values of Holt Homes is to incorporate sustainable landscaping and other sustainable development practice into their projects, and so that includes native plants and trees and shrubs and native grasses that will be incorporated through all the open spaces in this site. And starting with this stormwater facility at the upper right-hand corner of your screen, I'm just going to quickly walk through these main open space areas and talk about how they're just slightly different. So the stormwater area will be used primarily as a facility that will treat and detain stormwater runoff before it's released downstream. This area is going to be landscaped in a way that's intended for that function. There is, as you've seen on the slide previously, a path that runs through there. And so we've got some other passive recreational benefits that will be enhanced through some of the native plants, including native grasses and trees and shrubs in that area. But this area is intended for primarily stormwater management and passive recreation. These areas on the screen here in orange, very similar. They'll be landscaped primarily with native plants and trees and shrubs and grasses. But we want to make sure there's also some opportunities for some recreation use. So there will be some open lawn areas to throw a frisbee, kick a soccer ball, things like that. Similar to the community park here shown in the lower right-hand corner, same kind of mix of native plantings, but some more opportunities for lawn areas for recreational use. And then finally, we talked about this on the 14th, but there are 3 different on-site off-leash dog park areas are shown in these blue boxes. They will be landscaped, the dog play areas will be lawn, grass lawn, or some type of mulch that is conducive to that. So hopefully that sheds a little light on that question.
Thank you, very helpful.
We talked about traffic, I think, we can skip past that, we're happy to answer any additional traffic questions that may come up. We talked about impacts to school, just one point we'd like to, I guess, put a finer point on is that with the addition of these additional homes in this area, they will contribute significantly to property taxes. And a big chunk of that revenue will go to local school districts for use in expanding future school capacity. So we think there is definitely a direct positive benefit between this project and need for additional schools at some point in the future. Finally, there were a handful of comments that spoke to impacts to plants and wildlife in the area. As your staff pointed out in their supplemental staff report, we are preserving more than 20 acres of open space, and that's for the benefit of preserving wetlands, preserving significant trees, preserving a large area of the site for regional stormwater management. And that all contributes positively to kind of the local ecology and the environment in the area. There was also one specific comment in the record about potential for contamination on this aggregate pile that's sitting on the site that we intend to reuse in the development of the site. There is a letter in the record dated January 6, 2023 from DEQ that confirms that all of the contaminated soil on the site has been remediated for properly, and then no further action is necessary. So there is information in the record that confirms that rock pile is not a problem for the future contamination. I guess again we'll respond to any other comments during our rebuttal, but happy to answer any questions that we might have at this time.
Are there any questions from the commission? I have none. I think you're good for the moment.
Thank you very much.
We'll now move on to public comments. If there are any, is there anyone from the public who's here to speak on this application? And there is. Mr. Lewis? We'll give him a second to come back. Mr. Higginson? Please come on down. Sure. Give us your name, your address or ward, whichever you're comfortable with, and you have 5 minutes, I believe. 3 minutes? My apologies, 3 minutes.
Okay. Sorry, it's the first time I've been here. Okay, hi, good evening. My name is Nate Higginson. I live in southeast Salem near Battle Creek Road, and I specifically live on Independence Drive, which is one of the roads that is directly connecting to an entrance to the supply neighborhood. In the time that I've been living here, I've observed a lot of traffic on Battle Creek as well as traffic on my road. Both Battle Creek headed south toward the Costco and my road are both downhill. A lot of people drive really fast on that because it's a cruise. They're able to just accelerate at the way up the hill once they're headed from Pringle down Battle Creek. Once you get to the top of the hill, you can take your foot off the gas and go straight down the hill and continue to accelerate just because grade of the road itself. So I think that could also be taken into consideration on speed. I'd specifically like to request a consideration for a pedestrian crosswalk to be included in the consideration.
1 second, I may have information for you on that. Bryce, is a crosswalk at Independence now completely?
Yeah, a lead or, a crossing sign that can be activated by a push button to apply the sign with my crosswalk. Yeah.
So that's already being considered then right at that intersection.
I think that is in the staff proposal that we'll be voting on.
Yeah, it's one of the conditions of approval to build that pedestrian crossing.
Sounds like a good idea.
We're ahead of you on that one.
Okay, that's great.
Actually, your neighbor came and suggested that, so.
Good, awesome, okay. The other thing I wanted to mention is I know that there's a history of accidents on Battle Creek and specifically nearby my road here. I think a lot of that is due to the speed of the road and lack of visibility as cars that are going over the hill. You don't have enough time turning from my road to turn left across Battle Creek from the oncoming traffic and hill to be able to actually get onto the road without getting more close. So there's been a number of times that I personally, as well as people in the neighborhood, have talked to about 10 of my neighbors up and down the street, and they've all agreed that there's a lot of accidents that happen right there because of the lack of visibility combination with the speed, specifically headed south on Battle Creek. And north of Battle Creek going uphill, I don't think it's a big problem, plus you got a lot more visibility because you can see all the way to the Reed. So I wanted these to at least be points of consideration that everybody is aware of while we're talking about this.
All right, thank you. I don't think that we have any capacity to deal with independence because it's not directly related to the site, but both traffic engineers are here and I think they're your comments. Laura?
I would also add that the addition of the center turn lane on Battle Creek, so with the development, there will be an additional center turn lane as a relief area to make that movement, so that should also improve the turn movements heading onto Independence from the Costco direction.
Yeah,
Across that lane, so that would be a condition of approval on this development as well.
I think the concern that I have is more about going onto Battle Creek rather than coming off Battle Creek, but I hear that'll be improvement.
But when you turn, you can go from Independence to the center turn lane and wait for gas, so you're really only crossing one lane of traffic at a time.
Right,
So it makes it a lot easier.
cool, thank you.
Thank you. Did Mr. Lewis return? Okay, great. I think we'll throw it back to applicant. Well, you need one? One second, I apologize. Is there anyone else in case I missed someone? Yes, okay, please. I apologize about that, my mistake. Please come down, say your name, address your ward, whichever you prefer. You have 3 minutes.
My name is Shane, I live on 43 Shane Terwilliger, 4384 Sutherland Street Southeast. Just off of Battle Creek there. My main concern was with the density of the house. I've read and saw the whole Fairview master plan, which seems like I could support that. But I was kind of flabbergasted when I got this handout a week or so ago. And, I just didn't see how. I mean, it seemed like a bit of a panacea to have this community and all the mixed use and stores and. But I don't see any of that in this current design. It's just like like a sardine development with some big open spaces in between. So I guess I'm just surprised at what it looks like now compared to what the original plan. And I don't even know how you got from there to here. How somebody could say that's the same vision or concept. That, and then I just had one question about where is the mixed use? Is that at another parcel?
We're here to take your testimony. I don't have the ability to answer all of your questions, but the applicant has a chance to respond, so you may get an answer there.
Oh, that's all.
Thank you. There's one more, please.
My name is Leah Cowan, and I live in Ward 3, also in the same neighborhood. I did not.
You're speaking to the mic.
Oh, sorry. My name is Leah Cowan, and I live in Ward 3, so close to in the Cambridge neighborhood. And I actually did not receive a flyer, so I'm woefully unprepared. I only heard about this yesterday, but from the flyers that my other neighbors told me about that they received, the proposal development doesn't seem to match like the updated site plan, and then the TIA that was like provided and revised in December also doesn't show that updated site plan. And so it's hard to really evaluate what's going on if there's that discrepancy, especially if it's in this jargon that's kind of hard to read to begin with. So the pictures are nice and it's helpful to understand, but if it's not reflecting what's going to happen, it's hard for us to consider. So that's a statement. Furthermore, in that TIA, the figures 1 and 2, they show, and I'm very nervous. At sites E and D, the applicant is proposing to put streets there into their property, which is fine, and they're like pretty close in alignment with existing streets. But they're not showing any turn movements coming from the existing neighborhood. So I mean, I should be seeing 3 legs of movement, but I'm only seeing 3, so existing on Battle Creek and then from their property. At least, I think that's what I should be expecting to see. And so again, it's a kind of unclear picture to me what's happening. I also tried pretty hard to find, they were referencing a 2018 study, traffic study for Strong and 27th Street. And I could not find it. I like looked through the development applicant website, like filtering from 2017 to 18. It's laborious and it was only in a day. I didn't know about this now. And I could not find it. If it's with the cost, if it's like regarding the Costco TIA, great, but it like I don't know what they're talking about. And so I don't know how somebody what I should have been looking at. Because when I do look at the Costco TIA, it shows that the traffic signal with Costco in at Battle Creek and Kugler is at the 90 BC, which is, I think, standard for Salem. So with the additional houses going in this development, it should push us beyond that standard. So I think it's, yeah, supposedly currently at level of service T. I'm assuming that it's like a, but anyway. It's hard to make a decision. I don't know how you guys can make a decision without fully understanding all of this stuff. So good luck to you. And well, hopefully you can shine some light. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. Royce, do you think you could put up the cross section of Battle Creek? Just in case the applicant wants to reference it, it might be helpful to just have one last look at it before we close the hearing. Then once that's prepped, I'll invite the applicant to come back and make any final comments.
So this is this is a drawing that Laurel did, and so the top is the proposed cross section. And we have a little bit of an illustration in terms of lane widths, how that's proceeding.
Just in case you need it. I think I got it right this time. You're out.
Thank you. Is that also thank you? Yes. I'll start with the non-traffic related comments and then we can finish with that. I'll the traffic engineer here. Not really too much to add to that. We talked about speeding on Battle Creek, and your city traffic engineer did a really good job of talking about how the speed on Battle Creek is determined and how the design has ultimately changed the TSP process. Yes, we can confirm that we are in agreement with the conditional approval to have that crosswalk at Battle Creek. So we think that was a great addition that was recommended by staff. Your staff also mentioned that we will add the center turn lane that will help with those turning lanes onto and off of Battle Creek Road. I think the only couple of other things I want to respond to have to do with housing density and mixed uses. So our gross acreage across the site is about 5.3 dwelling units per acre, which is consistent with the target for this whole area and really consistent with the city's need for housing in this area. There are two, if you look closely at the plans, there are two different areas in the site where the total density is slightly changed. One area is called the low intensity development district, and that's kind of a perimeter of the site.
Say 5.3.
5.3 dwelling units per acre, yeah, for gross acres is good, just over 100 acres. Your question about mixed uses, where the mixed use is going to be, we don't have any traditional mixed uses on the site. The zone would allow for it at some point, but right now our application includes requests for single family detached homes and single family attached homes with no commercial uses that are kind of what would be the traditional mixed use component of a residential and commercial use. So it's all residential uses at this point and recreational and open spaces. I think I'm gonna ask our traffic engineer to come up and respond to those couple of additional.
I just wanted to check, if I remember from the previous hearing, there is mixed use in other parts of the Fairview development, is that correct?
I can respond to that. So Critical Creek Community, the refinement plant at Prairie Northern, the size of 32 some odd acres. They have, a mixed use building, has been approved, hasn't been constructed yet. There are some, there's some retail opportunities there. There was a coffee roaster that has been approved in site plan review. They're going through the process here, they're looking at its occupancy. So there has been some commercial uses. We have an office use in the at the intersection of Strong and Lindbergh at the northwest corner, across from Fairview Park. So we have had commercial uses out there. And so yeah, the Fairview plan, it had a grandiose vision. It was originally adopted in 2002, or sorry, 2005, but after the zone was adopted in 2002 to have, a live work and play community that, the economy crashed, went into foreclosure, it got sold off portions of it. And even the folks that were part of it, the sustainable Fairview folks, there was a whole series of buildings on the historic Crescent that were identified to be saved, but there was just no market to go into those buildings, so they continued to spill and disappear, and eventually the sustainable Fairview folks put the buildings down as well. So, the zone allows mixed use, but you can't require something when there's nobody wants to do it. So this is, we're getting commercial where we can, and as Zach said, the zone would allow, but it's not.
I know there's been problems in other cities in Oregon with that issue, just the inability to bring retail and commercial into mixed use areas. Thank you. I think your traffic engineer is up.
Thank you.
Hi. Oh. User. Hi. Good evening. My name is Diego Ordea with Kilton Associates. Our address is 851 Southwest 6th 40. First of all, I just want to say really good questions, and I appreciate your attention to detail. And if you are interested in the city of Salem, they're probably looking for someone just like you. But yeah, good questions on the TIA. Can you hear me? Can you hear me if I stand up straight? Okay. So I wanted to really quickly answer your question. The TIA figures went into not showing any turn movements at D and E. Those street connections to Independence and I believe Southampton, those weren't required by City of Salem during the scoping process for volume capacity level service analyses. So those traffic volumes aren't shown for that reason. The reason that you see traffic volumes from our side, from the applicant side, is because we needed to demonstrate where those traffic volumes are going to and from with the street connections. The focus of this analysis was really to identify which of the area facilities plan projects was most applicable. So one of those projects was the intersection of Battle Creek and Reed. And that's why that intersection was counted, evaluated, and level of services provided. Your second question regarding the 2018 study. The 2018 study was, I believe, I'm going to look over here at these folks, but it was a refinement plan. So it wasn't a traffic analysis with traffic counts, volume capacity. It was an old refinement plan. It should be included as an attachment to the report. And essentially it is a trip tracking exercise for the prior refinement plan. And so what that does is that helps us track the cumulative number of trips throughout the overall master plan development. That's what we're at there.
All right. Any last questions before I close the hearing?
I just had, just had two. You guys mentioned site distance was a reason why the crosswalk wasn't placed at Sunland. Did you have the figure on what that site distance was?
Is that a city,
For
is that a question for our traffic engineers? Yeah,
Actually, I'd like to defer to your staff if Tony can amend.
I think this came up before and I remember there was some information that was important, right?
I would have to double check, but I think there's restricted site distance there. And we don't want to put pedestrians in a position, where they're hidden from the view. And, we've talked about the speed of vehicles and then the other component to that is that there's nothing to cross them to. If there's no sidewalk, we can't require sidewalk on the west side. And so they would cross to a bike lane, which is not an appropriate ADA accessibility project.
Okay, and then the second question, this one wasn't intended for the applicant, but maybe the city could answer this too. If there's not sufficient site distance to marked crosswalk, what will be closed? And does the city have a full crosswalk closure process?
If it's an intersection where we can provide the pedestrian crossing, we'll put signs out that say crosswalk closed.
Thank you.
All right, going once, going twice, closing the hearing. Great, at this point I will look to Vice President Clark for a motion.
Will we approve the application based on the staff report and supplemental staff reports received to date?
But then I can be thinking. Is there a second to that?
I will second.
All right. Motion by Commissioner Truitt. Thank you. Any discussions on the motion at this point? Discussed out. Yeah. All right. Well, I would just say thank you to the applicant. I thank you to the staff and everyone's patience here. I think this has been actually an excellent application and an excellent process. And I look forward to seeing where it goes. So Jennifer will call the roll for us.
Commissioner Pop? Aye. Commissioner Freda?
Aye.
Commissioner Larnaca? Commissioner Rhodes? Aye. Commissioner Slayer?
Aye.
Commissioner Toad? Aye. Commissioner Truitt?
Aye.
Commissioner Vieira-Mandel?
Aye. All right, motion passes. Thank you very much. We'll take a 3-minute recess here. You ready? All right. Back session here. We have no special orders of business, no informational reports. Are there any subcommittee reports? Please, Mr. Fryback, Commissioner Fryback.
Yeah, so transportation subcommittee, week 2. So I would just like to announce that Joaquin is now on the transportation subcommittee, I can't remember the official name for it. And then also I'm just kind of been tootling around and looking at other cities' street design standards and what their TSPs look like and that kind of stuff, but I will reach out to the school district. I haven't gotten a chance to follow up on that. But the bus stop standards, but that's what we got.
Well, and now we know that our arterial streets are standard is built at 45 miles an hour.
Yeah,
Which I did not know about, so that's a significant thing that you may or may not want to tackle.
yeah, I can speak to that a little bit, so like, for example, the city of Eugene, I believe the highest design speed that they have on their city streets is like either 30 or 35, I can't remember off the top of my head. And their kind of design methodology is they say that their target speed, which is the speed that you want people to drive, is the same as the design speed, which is the same as your posted speed. And so this is really what the state uses and that other cities use to kind of do their speed limits and how to do their road width design. And then if you have a street, you know, if you design a street, I don't want to call out my arterial standard, but if you have a street where people aren't operating at the speed at which you want them to travel, then there's like a menu or a grocery list of options that you can use to apply to slow people down. And the city of Eugene uses these again because they just recently updated their standards. But you know, from this last agenda item, to me, it was pretty clear that we really need to have some of those tools in our toolbox to be able to do stuff like that. And I think that's one thing that I'm kind of really excited to tackle and work with.
Great. And there is room for one more on that committee. Anyone else is interested? So I'll just put that out there. We'll go to the planning administrator.
Thank you. I don't really have anything. Our next meeting that we have scheduled is February 4th. We don't have any agenda items in the week from tonight, so thankfully the agenda should have gone out today, but we didn't have anything. So
We have an option to cancel.
we
right
do have
now.
an option to cancel. We do have a February 25th meeting. And public works staff and the city engineers coming to present the capital improvement plan. So that's what we have on our agenda.
Mr. Private, you have a question? Comment?
Can I make a motion?
Two. If you can, yes, please.
Oh, I don't think we need a motion, but let me leave it to the president.
Oh, I have power here.
Yes.
What are people's thoughts? Do we want to cancel it? Yes, all right, cancel.
That's all I have. Thank you.
All right.
Meeting.
Well, that was fun. Any other comments for the good of the order? Yes, please.
I do not want to join the transportation committee, but I do want to thank you for taking that on because I think it's an important component of our city design approach and how we think about not only improving people's lives who live here currently, but encouraging future development and residents. Thanks for that.
I think the last thank you ever get for public service right there, so. All right, is there anyone else who would like to make a comment before we end the meeting?